Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP feature guest today shines bright for all. She has an effervescent personality with rock star skills. She's been producing and creating creative media in Tarrant County, Fort Worth, Texas for over 25 years now. She's capturing smiles, treasured moments, and memories for lifetimes with a fabulous journey to share. Her heart for giving, advocating, and supporting is legendary, treasured, and well, you know what? Let's just bring her on in. So please help me welcome Rachel Delira, owner, photographer of Style FW Pictures. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Amber.
Hello. So please allow me, before we really get into a groove, to make sure that I'm presenting your brand and your company correctly. And I've never asked you this. Is it Style FW or Style Fort Worth? How do you say it correctly?
It's Style Fort Worth, but because of certain legalities, I had to go ahead and make it the capital F, capital W. So anybody who's from our town knows FW. It stands for Fort Worth. So that's kind of how it is. But I always introduce myself as Rachel Delira, Style Fort Worth Pictures. So
love it. Perfect. Well, we're going to make sure and include later all of your contact information that you want to share at the end in the resources so they can always link to you. But I always want to make sure that I'm asking that question so we can make sure that folks can find you.
great.
Excellent. Well, Rachel, it's so exciting to visit and spend some time with you today as you share your Silhouette of Success story. So again, thank you for taking a little bit of time. I know how busy things are, so thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, and I also have to add, again, before we get started too deep, because I never want to interrupt a good flow, but I'm going to let everybody know out there. I admire you so much for so many reasons from afar, but I'll tell you what, anyone that's following you on your social media, just kudos to you because you are killing it with your running progress.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, so inspirational.
Thank you. I'm really pre-diabetic now. I've been able to control my diabetes, and I do it with my exercise and everything. And I just started to do it for me as a little bit of a journal. I mostly use my Instagram to journal, and I started to get a little bit of a following there for other folks who are like, well, how are you doing it? And a lot of it is just walking and, minor running and everything. But it's all about fighting that diabetes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's crazy how we need that motivation and inspiration sometimes from others. We do that in the groups, or we just do it if we can see somebody. So you are probably reaching people from all over the place that maybe you don't know. But from me to you, I'm watching, I'm inspired. And so thank you for what you're doing there by sharing your journal.
Thank you. I still got a long road. I mean, where I'm at with medically, my doctor wants me to keep going on and get into a safety zone. So especially with my A1C. So I think if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just a matter of, taking some time. And not only that, with COVID and everything that happened, I found that being, especially outdoors and doing what I'm doing, it's kind of my church. It's my time to, stress, release, and really find my zen. And I do all my editing in my head a lot. I'll shoot something and then I'll wait and, take some time. And then when I'm running, I'm editing in my head. This is black and white. This is color. So,
Really?
yeah, I do. I mean, I live in my imagination. So not only am I getting good exercise, fighting my diabetes, but I'm also doing some work. And I'm finding my church is my spirituality. So,
Yeah.
when, I can be upon myself, and my focus is even better. I mean, I know that sounds funny, but I can focus on what I need to get done when I'm doing something as free as that. And if anybody who wants to get started in running, you'll notice, yeah, it hurts a little bit in the beginning, but then all of a sudden it's just all worth it. You just don't feel it. You just find peace.
Wow. Okay. So when someone says, "What's your secret?" Haha, we have an inside track, but it is the clarity of releasing everything and allowing you to just be in the moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the audience. I told you she's a rock star. Okay. All right, my lady, this is your time to shine. So the stage is going to be yours. So to help illustrate your silhouette of success, and again, go back as far as you want, share what you want, but share a little bit with our audience about you and your background.
Okay, well, I'm originally from California, and then my family, we moved to El Paso, Texas when I was young, and that's where I went to high school. And I'm a Sleta Indian. And if anybody knows about El Paso, I mean, it's all about the high schools. When you meet somebody from El Paso, you'll be like, well, what high school did you go to? While I was in high school, I was in an all girl drum corps. And I think learning music and being part of such a structure like a drum corps is, there's just a point of people counting on you to be on the beat. And I think that just kind of stayed with me through the years, learning that structure, loving the music, performing. You have to get out there in front of a stadium and perform, and not only that, there's not one. I mean, you have to do it as a team, as a group. And so I think that really kind of laid the foundation for me on things that I wanted to try and go into. And I had some great professors because they even told me, you're going to make mistakes and you may not know exactly what you want to go into, but now's the time to do it, is at this age. And that's what I'm trying to share with my son who just graduated. Now is the time to really look at everything and take your time and find something you love. And so when I graduated, I had a scholarship for radio broadcasting. And so I went and I was on the radio for a while and I learned broadcasting. I was on the radio, but I just quickly knew within a year, this is not what I wanted to do in my life. So I started working and I wasn't ready to go to college yet. And then I got into a stunt organizational group in film where they teach you how to do stunts. And so I did that. And then I would travel, did a lot of work in Albuquerque, and that was fun. But then again, you do it for a while and you realize, I don't want to make a career out of this. I mean, it's a lonely life, and I know me. I'm very family oriented, so that just wasn't going to fly. So when I finally moved to Dallas, I finally realized that this was the time to, not just work, but I needed to make a career. I had too many ideas, and then I was working for Sam's Club for so many years, and I started producing little things for them. I even produced the first Sammy Awards, which now Walmart would do every year, which is funny. I produced the very first one. I put it together, and I take a lot of pride in that. Of course, my manager got all the credit, but I'm the one that and yeah, and this is where the award, the employees and stuff, and so it was really cool. So then that's when I went to North Lake College. At that time, I thought, okay, I really want to produce. I really want to learn. I've already been in front of the camera. So now I want to learn how the camera works and everything. And I had the greatest teacher there, Mr. Franklin, was our professor, and did the whole radio TV program. By the time I got my associates, moving into my bachelor's, I had to start working. I had job offers, and I mean, it was just great. But I didn't realize I was going to meet my future husband, which I did. So we got married, and then I realized, oh, this is hard, to be gone. So we invested into some camera work, and I did my very first wedding, which was, I was helping someone with a wedding first. If you can think, Amber, I was camera too. I was helping this, but that photographer was horrible. The bride and groom at the altar, and he was getting up in front of the bride and groom, taking pictures, blocking the parents of the bride. They can't see their. I was like going, this is not a way to do an event. My parents would die. So we invested in, and that's when I started my own. And my first production company was Hun Bun Video Production. sure enough, I got creative in my video productions, and I was doing these really high-end weddings and doing 3 camera shoots, wireless audio. I mean, making montages, slideshows. I like to think I kind of helped pioneer that back in the early '90s, really putting that together. Eventually, my husband and I started to have kids. So when you start to have kids and you realize, wow, every weekend at a wedding, you have to start reevaluating. I closed my business back in 2000. Oh gosh, I think it was 8 or so on the video production. And then I started working on a group called the Starlet Model Group. What it was is I was doing quinceañeras now. So quinceañeras and Sweet 16s was fun because I was doing beauty production with these girls with the beautiful dresses on location studio. And oh, I was having a great time. And then I started to work with a magazine called Q&M magazine out in Dallas. So I was shooting the covers of the magazines, but I was like, no, I need girls who can understand what it takes to be on the cover. So I started my own model group, and I would teach them how to stand, act. I even taught them what I learned in script reading, commercial work, and this was really really great. So I did the Starlet Model Group. My company at that time was called Glitterati Girl. I was doing all the Kinsa promotions and everything, and then I did one political project. It was by accident. This was back in 2015. It was an ask, and I was like, okay, so I took some, event pictures and stuff. And before you knew it, it's like, hey, can you do my campaign photos? Oh, okay. And then it did, can you do so? And then I met so and so, and then I met so and so. And that was it. I knew I was gonna have to let go of my other model group thing because I was getting way booked on these other events. And my husband actually, when I have my husband, Robert, and now I have 3 boys. I had one at the time, now I have 3, and we just realized that slowing down and so we can enjoy our kids. And so that's kind of, and so it just took off from there. As I moved on, I just reinvested in camera work for events and portraits design, like for campaign photos or nonprofit production. And that's where I've been ever since.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, first of all, matching that high energy of yours, I'm like, okay, all right, I've got to rewind real quick. Did I hear you say stunts?
Yes.
Okay, elaborate.
It was an organization called Stage West Stunt Productions, and the gentleman who owned it, he was a stuntman for many Western shows, and he was the one who maintained all the animals and stuff. So he started his own organization. He was out of Albuquerque. His name is Frank, I think Zappino, but it's been many years. I'm not sure if that's his last name. I should have gone back and researched that before the podcast. Sorry. But,
no, that's okay.
So, yeah, and I was with that organization. So, yeah, we went out for some films and Young Guns, a series. And I don't know if you guys can go way back, way back in the early '90s. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I was growing up, and I realized, and like I said, people don't realize getting into acting, I mean theater, if you're really getting into movies, you have to be solid and you have to understand that you're going to have somewhat of a lonely life as well. I mean, on stage, and that just for someone like me, that wasn't me. I wanted to still be around my family or have a family. So that's why I changed my career.
How cool, though. What a cool little segment of your journey. How fun is that?
I think it works when, for instance, shooting Main Table and having to get up on a 20-foot ladder, shooting down so we can see the whole city and see Main Table, downtown street, you know what I mean? Or a lot of the shots I do now of downtown and cities, I mean, there's always a little bit of fear, but I always feel good on my feet. I think I've always been a solid big girl, so I don't know, I can just manage.
You were preparing in many ways, right? Maybe preparing. And yeah, and while you're talking about those shots, especially, everybody will be running to check out your social media and all of your contacts when we hang up. But I will tell you, mesmerizing. Your work is just mesmerizing. It is so breathtakingly beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. No, thank you.
I get inspired. I love to look at art pieces. I like to go back and look really at the retro, vintage, anything back in the era. I love the classic old glam of 1950s. did Marilyn Monroe ever take a bad picture? I don't think so. Even those photographers from way back then, I mean, they were just classic, all film. And so I like to do some artwork in my big shot cities. I like to make sure all my headshots, everybody looks their best, beautiful eyes. I don't want to change anybody, but there's always things that we can do that just I always call it give it flavor. I like to give my photography a flavor of something because everybody has that one photo that you're like, I like the way I look in that. That's me. I really feel like me. And so when I talk with a client or work with people, especially when I'm doing people shots, I try to get a feel. What is your favorite side? What is the one thing that you really really like? I mean, let's see samples, and then I kind of go from there. So it should be a feeling. It should be a want and a love that you need to help put into that image, so that people just feel good about it. Sometimes it takes two shoots to get it. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Wow. Well, that you take the time and you've got such a high energy, but yet you've got a balance from my observations of patience too. So great skill set.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta wait for that. You gotta wait for the moment to happen.
Yeah.
I sometimes I have to get those pictures where I have to group everybody. You got the board chair, and you got the event chair, and you've got the CEO, and they need that one photo that the company or the nonprofit, they're gonna need to promote as a thank you for sponsorship. I mean, I take all of those things into account. And like so many of the nonprofits that I work for now, and I know I'm so blessed to know so many folks, they know I'm going to go and look for that job. I'm going to go and look for those images that I know that they'll need, for business. And then you've got the freelance. And freelance in photography is you're pretty much hiring me to do what I think is the best shot. Very rarely now. In the beginning, people would give me a shot list, and I'll be like, okay. And very rarely now do I get a shot list. It's very rare. It's mostly, Rachel, go do your thing.
That's
Okay,
right.
I will do my thing. But before I can do my thing, you need to tell me who's your event chair, who's this, what I mean? And hopefully I know who they are. If they give it to me in advance, I research and I can look and say, oh, okay, this is so and so and so and so. And not only that, but not to be obtrusive to interrupt conversations. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes a good glitterati. I always tell everybody, I'm not paparazzi. I hear that and people laugh. Oh, Rachel Paparazzo's here. No, I'm more of the glitterati. I want people in their best moments, their best smiles, looking their best, feeling great. Paparazzi tends to look for the drama, the attitude. You know what I mean? And I don't do that. I try to celebrate in photographs what the event is, whether it's a small little personal party all the way up to, downtown Fort Worth Inc.'s annual luncheon, which that's coming up in July. I'm going to have how many, 500 to 800 guests, and my job is to go around and look for those pictures that are going to help tell the story about, what this event was about. I try to do that with all my events, actually.
You do. Oh, I love that. I love how you have separated and educated us on not paparazzi, right? Because that's always like the comment. I was in your bio. I love seeing the glitterati. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, so cool.
Well, honey, doesn't mean I don't capture the drama. You all see it. I have a private collection folder that images go in there. And it doesn't mean that here in Fort Worth we're all innocent because, Lord heaven, I think I've seen some things. But the thing is, a professional photographer should always be that professional, right? And with class, with style, always take care. You know what I mean? I don't like to shoot people when they're eating. You know what I mean? I don't like, we're certain like our elected officials that you won't see a beer in their hand when I'm taking a photo. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a time and a place, and you got to be respectful. And I really, really try to push that along. That even anybody who's listening to your podcast, if they're interested in photography or they maybe want to start going into events, I mean, they're all welcome. Lord knows we always need more photographers. But those are little tips that are going to get you the next job. Nobody wants a picture of the CEO with a big old wine glass and one eye's closed and his wife's got her hair just popped up. And you know what I mean? sometimes it's just the little things that's going to get the difference. And I kind of look at that. And then you can also tell the body language. I would suggest that too if you're going to go into photography. Really take the time to understand people's body language, stance. I mean, there's people, they'll just let you know by body language they don't want the picture taken. Or perhaps they weren't supposed to be at this luncheon, they're supposed to be at work. But they were invited, so now they're here at the luncheon. And so, isn't it funny? But through the years, I've been able to have my own little language versus the ones who give me the eyes like, Rachel, are you going to take my picture? Yes, I'll take your picture.
I hope you are cataloging. You mentioned journaling earlier when we first visited, but you have a wealth, and it's not textbooks so much as it's exactly what you just said. Your keen observation and your ability to read others, your ability to, if you will, dissect the room when you walk in and figure things out, right? I mean, that's an okay word to use, but evaluate, I guess, because evaluate, read the room. I like dissect, but well, I'll tell you, you are the consummate professional, yet you always give that feeling of a friend. So, I mean, that just, again, leaps and bounds over so many out there. So, listening to your journey and the evolutions throughout your career, how did you determine, again, for the audience that might, of course, taking copious notes like I am, but how did you maybe determine that it was time for you to make a change or to go out on your own? You talked about schooling and education and the family life, but in between maybe your business launches, how did you really figure that out?
I think everything, I think we all have lives that we start off in one road, and some of us can look ahead and see that maybe it might split if you do this, if you do that, if you take an extra class, maybe you study a little something this, or maybe if you go out and volunteer for this event, that might open a door for you, that road that's ahead of you. We all have it. Just it's whether you're going to open your eyes to seeing all the colors of the light that's in front of you, or are you just happy being where you are? Are you just, I mean, some people are. Some get to a point, they say, I'm already at this age, this is all I want to do. And for me, I don't think that age is ever going to come. I'm 51 and I still see so many things ahead that that I want to do. But it's that, again, it's that light. I just see it. I see, oh, if I do this, I wonder what I could do with it. Oh, I might be able to present it to somebody else and maybe they'll like this image and then see if that door opens. And if it doesn't, well, at least I have a real pretty picture for my wall. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense.
Yeah. And I think, and honestly, I've said this before and I even made a joke about it. I was very, very fortunate in 2019 to win the Businesswoman of the Year with the Fort Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I mean,
yes.
I was just absolutely thrilled. And when I asked, it was John Hernandez, who was the CEO at the time, and I asked him, oh my gosh, you're nominating me? Why? He goes, because when we saw you all get started, which was in that 2015-16 started, you didn't know anybody. You weren't really, you volunteered here and there, and now you're photographing the biggest events in Fort Worth. You went from there to there, and you built the success of your business single-handedly. I don't have employees or anything. It's me. And he goes, that's kind of what we wanted to show. And I was like, well, okay, now I see. Thank you very much. You're like, I want to work harder. But as I'm saying, all those doors were open for me. And all it took was being smart in my work, provide quality images, and not invest. You have to invest in yourself, which means investing in the equipment so that I can do my job. The cameras that I started off with was nowhere the speed and the quality of what I wanted to look like what I seen elsewhere. And I'm very inspired by the looks in New York and this style magazines. I love Dior, Chanel. I mean, I love looking at their catalogs. I love looking at Vogue. Obviously, the Vogue is the Bible of photography. In order to have some caliber, some images, you got to look at what some of the greats do. And come up with, okay, now make it your own. But you have to invest to have equipment to come up with that kind of quality. You can't do it in subpar, equipment. So anybody again who wants to go into photography, sometimes you maybe have to take that extra loan or whatever. It's just start, honing in your craft. And it will pay off. It really, really will. And even if it's just you and your mom who loves it, or you and your husband who loves it, still it's something that you made. And the pride is there. And if you love it, sometimes others will too.
I love that. And that's inspirational within itself. So many things that you said, but you're right. Whether it gets out there in the public eye and published, or whether it's something that you can have that intimate feeling of, I did this and I'm successful, because success is, of course, we all define it differently. And you answered one of the questions that I was going to ask you is, where are your style sources of inspiration? I'm loving the ones that you're sharing so far.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? If anybody who's like me who just loves photography, that's more of the modern style. I already talked to you about loving to go back and look at some of the old style glam, old style film from way back in the days, and look at lighting and shades of color and everything. But then you got the modern photography, and some of the best photographers in the world are in New York, and so I think someone like me, I think I'm just blessed that I can look at everything. I have everything at full access, and I don't know, just be inspired. But then I also am the type of person, I gotta make my own. What can I do to make this my own? And I just love it.
Well, I don't think you're expressing that in your voice, though. Just kidding. It's speaking. Oh, what a passion project and love affair with what you do, and so it sounds like that's true. When they say, if you love what you do, then you never go to work, right? So,
Right.
was there ever? You mentioned, of course, your phenomenal earned achievement for the Business Woman Award in 2019. Is there ever been an accomplishment, a cherished accomplishment, that you actually surprised yourself in achieving in any gamut?
You know what? I feel like I win the Oscar every time I get an email, a thank you card, or anything from any of the event chairs, CEOs from all the events that I've done. Even just a like or a love on social media for me is it just makes me feel so great. I mean, it's the little things like that. It really, really is. I remember one year, Tarrant County Judge Whitley chose one of my images for the Christmas card for the year. I mean, oh my God, I was over the moon for weeks. I was like, he chose mine. I was like, and I remember in the very beginning when I saw some of the cards, I thought, boy, how do I get one of my pictures on the Christmas card? Well, I mean, you have to be chosen, come up with something creative. And I thought, okay. And that was from Commissioner Brooks. And I remember I love working with Commissioner Brooks. And he's like, you want to have that, have your photo be the Christmas card for Tarrant County. It's on you. Come up with something creative and see if it gets chosen. And then one year it was. And I believe that was the 2000, that was 2019 also. Yeah, that was 2019. So, I mean, it's little things like that. I don't know. I just think every time I turn in a project to a client and they send me a message back saying, we loved it, that's it. That's the best feeling in the world. And, besides the love of my children and my husband, my family, I don't put them on my Facebook and all that because my family is very personal and private with me. I have to use my social media for work. I enhance and show my clients on my social media. The only thing I use for personal use is my Instagram. That's where I'll put maybe like my kids graduating or, you know what I mean? I have my own personal account for that. But everything else on my social media, I use for business. And everybody seems to like that because they have easy access and we're able to share the images from whether it's an event or personal use or headshots.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. Something you said a little bit ago would be a great segue into this question. And it is so apparent, as I mentioned in our opening, the legendary advocacy and support that you give to the community in nonprofit work, but in many realms. And you do it in vivid color. And so I love that you started talking about that. And so can you connect that purposeful mission or drive back to someone or something? What inspires you to be and do all of those things that you fit into your calendar?
Well, it all goes back to my parents.
Yeah.
Mom and dad. I mean, even when I was in sixth grade and I was asked to sing at the sixth grade show at the elementary, told me, "You can do it. You can get up there. You can sing in front of everybody." And I was like, "I can." And I'm not a great singer, but I was asked because I think I was very vivid. I was very imaginative. I was very loud in sixth grade. So that, you know what I mean? And it all starts back. That's the very first time I ever got out and performed, was when I was in sixth grade. And my parents always supported me with that. And they always let me do my thing lovingly. I'd go out and be myself. Even when I went away to try to be an actor, be a stunt woman, they always had my support and my back. So seeing my parents have that kind of faith made me want to have faith in myself in order to do what I really wanted to do. And now, I mean, both of my parents are in heaven. I know they're watching me, and still to this day, I'm still trying to impress them. I always will.
Yeah, it's a great drive, right? It's a great driver or motivation. Love that. Well, thinking about your goals and dreams and your growth, maybe share with the audience if you have any suggestions about positive adjustments that you've developed or put into your life or environment to help support your growth.
Well, one of the things I would say is you have to take care of your health. I mean, I will share with you that back in 2000, between 2012, really probably through 2000 and about 16, I was extremely overweight, which I just didn't realize how bad the diabetes was. I mean, I was extremely, extremely overweight. And it wasn't until I really decided that I needed more strength, more time, more me, or get back to me and my younger self, you know what I mean? The way I was, that I had to take care of my health. So I would say a healthy mind, healthy heart really is going to help you focus and get into and help you find that drive and completing whatever goal you have. And I think people, if you, like I said, invest yourself, not only like when I was saying equipment, but also invest yourself as in your temple. This is your body, which is going to help you through, going to keep you young. I would say that would be a number one thing. If I could do it, I think anybody could do it. I was 380 at one time. I'm down to 320. I mean, not three, two. Sorry.
I was gonna say.
Now I'm back to 220. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? There's ways to do it. You don't have to do it overnight, but there's just about healthy mind, healthy body. I think I try to tell that and share that with everybody. I was sharing with somebody yesterday when they were asking, "Hey, Rachel, how did you do that?" And I would share what I'm doing, and healthy wise, exercise, good eating, monitoring. So that would be one of the main things I would say.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. That's sound advice, sound practical, put into use advice. And that's what we all need, isn't it, these days? Mm-hmm. Well, share with us a little bit, because we see you on the go. We see all of your stellar work. How do you relax and unwind?
Oh, my. Family time. Just like yesterday, me and my family, we all went to the movies and we relaxed and we were together, and we like to do that. We like to take certain days where we turn off the phones, get off the video, just be together, eat together. Those are the times that we can rewind. And most of the time for me, mornings are my time to do my running and stuff like that. But my family time is really what I love. That I look forward to. We have a big vacations coming up next month, and we're just so excited. So that's kind of what I do. But otherwise, it's 24/7 working. Right now, I have 6 projects in the can that I've got to get out, edit, design. I had a deadline at 11 o'clock this morning for GM Financial with Young Women's Leadership Academy, and I did it. I got it done. So, but I kind of like that little bit push and stress. I like having that. I hate the word procrastinate. I hate hearing it, seeing it. That is just not welcome in my life. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah. Too much to do. Too much to do.
Too much to do. Yeah.
So cool. Well, Rachel, in respecting your time, and as we begin to wrap this up a little bit,
Okay.
it has been such a pleasure. And I have to ask, in continuing to provide and keeping the promise to provide our audience with intentional inspiration,
Mhm.
do you have a piece of key go-to advice that you'd like to share?
I would say open your imagination. Open it, let flavor, light, love, everything, welcome it into your life. If you're mad at somebody, let it go. If you love someone, they don't love you back, let it go. This is the only jog you're going to have. This is it. This is your last run. You know,
Yeah.
this is your time to create, to, whatever achievements you want to go after your goals. This is it. This is your only chance. You're not going to get any younger. If you are young right now, then make mistakes and make them again, and then learn from them and move forward. But I'm just pretty easy breezy and letting it flow. And I don't know. I just love my imagination. And I think everybody, if you just take the time to let your mind wander and soar, and then, remember those things that you really, really want to achieve, I think you can vision a way to do it.
That's perfect, because I'm painting a picture in my head of all of you, as you were speaking of your advice. So embrace it all. Thank you for that. I'm drinking it in.
I have one more thing. I'm trying to build, and this is what I'm coming to. I do a full page spread in the Metro Report magazine, and it's the who's who and what. It's kind of like, remember Teen Beat back in the
Yeah.
day? Well, it's like
Yes.
Teen Beat for Fort Worth is what it is. There's no articles, there's no stories. It's just pretty much highlights of this event, who's the chairs, and it's a digital flip album. So that's my new production. That's what I'm working on to get going. And so I'm hoping that you all will see that here soon. I'm still designing it. It's going to be really, really cool. I think you all are going to like it, especially all of our wonderful, wonderful friends here in Fort Worth.
Love that. Love that. So that's also another perfect segue into this. And what I would like to do is give you the floor and say, where can our audience go to find and connect with you on your socials or support you in your continued success?
Thank you. Well, we are designing a brand new website that's going to go into my clip album, which is called Style in Fort Worth. Right now, it's Style in the Metroplex, which is in the Metro Report magazine publication. That is print and also on digital. It's on social media, all forms of social media, except for TikTok. But mostly you can always find me, message me on Facebook. And because of guidelines, I just keep it Rachel Delira. I will eventually start a Style in the Metroplex page. But for right now, I'm just still under Rachel Delira. And if you go there, just Rachel Delira, you will see like my images and my link to messaging, my phone numbers there. I'm also at stylefwpictures@gmail.com. And on Instagram, again, I'm under Rachel Delira. Everybody I've talked to, everybody says, why don't you just do Style for With page? Because at this point right now, I want to make sure it's absolutely correct and, branded. I'm working on the branding, and so I just want to make sure everything's great on that. So I hope y'all will look for that. So eventually it will be Style FW Pictures on Facebook, and also a Style in the Metroplex. And that'll be the digital publication.
Excellent. And we will be sure and include those links and that information in the show notes, so it's easy for the audience to access too, so they don't have to go hunt for it.
Thank you.
There. Easy breezy. Well, Rachel, thank you once again for sharing your silhouette of success with us. And you have been just enormously exciting and energetic and inspirational for me, guilty pleasure, but I know for all of our audience. So thank you once again for spending time with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hope you all have a great day.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out, and join us for all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. Amber would love to hear from you, and you can find her on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or head over to amberweitzer.com. Let's connect. Help us all shine and leave us a review too. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at amberweitzer.com. We are honored, humbled, and full of joy that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer Podcast, Silhouettes of Success.